Oh, this is Jennifer Wade.
Oh, okay. She's late. Let's
she's
put
late.
her on
She's
for the
40
last...
minutes late, but that's fine.
You can go on for 20 minutes.
Oh, well, maybe even longer. You never
Yeah,
know.
we can go a bit longer. Sure.
I have no idea if I'm going to put you on. Hold on.
Hang up after you've hit transfer. Otherwise, we get feedback. That's it. Switch it up and push that.
Jennifer.
Hello, David.
Hello. It's David Ingram here, and Richard
nice
Pitt.
to speak with you again.
Okay.
The last time I was on your show, that was when it all closed down with Shaw Television.
Yes, it was in 2001. You were one of the last 4 or 5 people that I had as a guest.
I think it was the very last show, if I remember correctly.
No, the last one was actually Carl, why can't I remember your last name? He was a former president of EarthSave, and we did the show on farmed animals and caged chickens and so on.
Oh,
but you were right in there in the last couple in there.
Well, I
Jennifer,
always wondered if it was you were getting a bit too close to the bone of things, getting into the real nitty-gritty, talking to some of the natives and so forth. However, we can only guess at that.
We certainly had a lot of fun with that, and the speculation was fun, and the one that a bunch of people said I was taken off the air for was because of the Kevin Annett show on the residential schools.
Well, I was on that with Kevin.
Yes,
and I spoke about being at his hearing. And do you know, David, something I must tell you? At that time, the United Church wrote a letter that was very slanderous of me, and they have that still on every website, so that when anybody goes into my name, they come across that letter. And I don't know if you remember, it was a letter written by a Brian Thorpe to the Vancouver Sun.
I do remember it, Jennifer. I thought they would have taken that down.
What was that?
I do remember that, and I would have thought they would have taken that down by now.
No, and the Vancouver Sun said it was never published in their paper. So, I mean, it's an ongoing lie. And I've had so many United Church people come up to me and say, oh, well, I guess you tried to damage the church. And I mean, I never slandered the church. If only people would ask, if I slandered the church, why didn't the church sue me? Yeah. But they have slandered me very badly.
That letter's still up, is it?
That letter is still up. Somebody brought it to my attention the other day.
Well, we'll have to look that up and see, because I
was put up a couple of awards for doing international justice work, some of which you know about.
Yep.
And apparently in both cases, United Church people spoke up and said, well, no, there's a letter saying that she's done something terrible. And that letter was never published, but they have it up there pretending it was published by the Vancouver Sun.
Isn't that amazing? I do remember that, Jennifer, because I talked to you about it a couple of times, so that our audience knows.
And that was a long, long time ago. Just a minute, David. I'm changing phones. Can you hear me better?
We can certainly hear you.
Oh, good.
You're doing fine.
Good.
Now, I want to sort of introduce you to, because that's sort of that's a really fast come-in there. It's interesting that you brought that up, because I'd sort of forgotten about all that part.
Yeah, it's been very, very damaging to me and very unjust, but it shows how desperate the church must be.
Well, they certainly had a lot of problems with Kevin Annett and his deal, and I have never read anything that he wrote or listened to anything that he said that didn't turn out to be the absolute truth.
I'm afraid that's how I feel, and you know, I mean, I know that Kevin can be
very hard to deal with.
At times, his way is not my way, David. I will say that. But I have no problem defending the truth of what he revealed and what he brought out. Yeah,
well, the residential schools problem, of course, gets even worse. I mean, more stuff comes out every year, and it just gets worse and worse.
But you know, I think...
But I don't want to talk about residential schools right now, because we don't have enough time.
Okay.
We'll do another show, because I wanted you to phone in at 5 to 8, and we're going off in about 20 minutes.
I know.
What I called you about today was that I know you were active in the Peltier, and you observed all the trials in that situation, Leonard Peltier, and now we've got the John Graham situation.
It's the same story, but different players, David.
Well, it's the same incident, too, is it not?
More or less, yes.
It still comes down to Wounded Knee and the same lady, the same people injured, killed, and
Well,
so on.
it was all the American Indian movement
Yeah,
that I believe that has been tried to be silenced by the
AIM.
FBI in America.
AIM.
Yes.
And the FBI came up and testified, and John Graham, there's a wonderful book about Leonard Peltier, and I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Oh, In the Spirit of Crazy Horse.
Yes, okay, I've read that book, and it's just an amazing thing. When you read it, you wonder how he could have been convicted in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
And I still don't think, from anything I've seen, that the conviction should have been right.
I mean,
but then
they
they came up, and then they come along 20 years later, and they arrest John Graham in Vancouver, or in BC, and they throw him in jail for a couple of years, and they extradite him, and the FBI and so on come up and testify. And you sat through all that trial too, did you not?
I sat through everything with John Graham, and
Okay.
I was flabbergasted that it was the same thing all over again, in that they got, a tragic figure who was on drugs and alcohol, and bribed him, and he said he was bribed. He said that over and over, to testify against John Graham, just same as Myrtle Poorbear signed false affidavits. You know, she was told that if she didn't sign those, that she had seen Peltier kill the 2 FBI agents, that something might happen to her and her children. I mean, this was all in the Globe and Mail. The whole
I know,
story
it's all come out retroactively.
But I asked
still in
John
jail.
Graham's lawyer, I said, how come they've done the same thing all over again? And he looked at me and he said, well, why would they not do it? It was successful the first time, so why not try it again?
Well, that's it. If you do something that works, why not do it again? Let me,
Exactly.
I just want to give you're still Amnesty International, are you not?
I still work with Amnesty, but these cases are not Amnesty. Leonard Peltier is an Amnesty case, but John Graham is not. I cannot understand why Amnesty has not come in on the John Graham case.
Okay, and just to give you a little bit more background, you were actually part of the Martin Luther King Jr. movement, were you not?
I was working in civil rights in the South beside Martin Luther King, yes, all those years.
You weren't there, you were part of his actual movement, were you not, or am I wrong on that?
He worked with a different group. I worked with the Southern Regional Council. He was with the Christian Leadership Group.
Okay, I was mistaken
He
on
worked
that.
across the road from me, but all of us were together a lot. And, I mean, it was a time of great ferment in the South, and we all knew each other. We all shared things together. And I certainly, we were always in contact, whether it was Stokely Carmichael, Jim Foreman. They were in and out of offices. We were all working together.
Okay, so I've got the basics of that correct.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about John Graham, please. What happened? Why was he arrested? And then what is this thing that's happened today or yesterday where they've dropped the federal charges against him? And what does that mean, or what do you think it means?
I'm trying to find out what that means. You see, first of all, he was really abducted, David. He was taken early in the morning from the cell by American authorities, and he wasn't even allowed to call his girlfriend or his family. And they whisked him away and crossed the border with him and put him in jail in South Dakota. And, I mean, he's always said he's totally innocent. Now, when he got down there, the amazing thing is that the first judgment on him was, we can't try him. He's not an American native. He's a Canadian native. We can't try him here. Now, one thing that's happened that's very fortunate for John, he's in South Dakota, by the way, in the prison in Rapid City in South Dakota. One thing that he's very fortunate, he's had an excellent lawyer, albeit a state-chosen lawyer, but he appears to be a very caring and a very thorough person, a man called John Murphy. And I'm amazed at all that he's done for John, and he obviously believes totally in John, as John's lawyer here in Vancouver did. John had a very good lawyer here, Terry LaLiberty, a good criminal lawyer.
Yes, we know Terry.